All right, let's get started. So we want to welcome everyone to our parody webinar series. I know we have a lot of familiar faces in the crowd and we always love that. Today we're doing a session on personal branding. We're super excited to have Vincent Braithwaite. He is a 20-year veteran in the design space. So user experience, industrial design, personal branding, and where all those things come together. So we're super excited to have him with us. He studied at places like the Rhode Island School of Design, MIT, and he also is a distinguished faculty member at General Assembly, for those of you who know what General Assembly is. But we really buy into his concept that everybody has a personally authentic brand, right? And it has nothing to do with what you've accomplished. It doesn't have anything to do with the sports you play, although those are big parts of what your brand could be. But authentically who you are is kind of what we're trying to hone in on today, and obviously is a big part of what we believe at Parity. So super excited to have everyone here, and we'll turn it over to Vincent.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I just wanted to make sure my sound was working. Thank you, Minji, for that great introduction. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen. I do have slides, so let me go ahead and do that. Can I? Okay, let's see why won't it let me? Okay, here we go. I got it now. All right, let me make sure this is full screen so everyone can see my screen. All right, fantastic. So the title of this particular presentation, we have Wow Broke, but I'm gonna give some context to that and help break that down, so don't be jarred. It's like, wait, what does that term mean and why I'm not broke? You know, so we're gonna break this down, don't worry about it. Again, I'm really excited to have you all here. I'm gonna just jump in. We have a lot of activities that I have planned for you all. So I will share a little bit about myself. Minji already shared a lot. I'll add a few more things. Currently, not only did I attend Rhode Island School of Design, I am now a professor at Rhode Island School of Design, where I am teaching a class, UX and Racism, Designing a New Narrative. So similar to what we're gonna be doing here, it's all about the narrative, right? How we are presenting ourselves to the world, how we're showing up, etc. I have also done a TEDx talk on Broke, the Genesis of Genius in 2017 in Los Angeles. I'm currently a contributing writer for Adobe XD Ideas. I will be speaking at the UX Drop Global Conference this year. And of course, many years of experience in design and 10 years as an entrepreneur, where I've primarily worked with a lot of organizations as well as individuals, not just with their businesses, but also with their brands. So definitely very relevant to what we're going to be discussing and working through today. I'm going to be switching screens. Give me 1 second. One other thing that I wanted to, before jumping into what we're going to talk about, is just to acknowledge the space that we're in, you know, what today's date is, you know, and how, you know, it impacts people differently. So if you are okay with, I'd love to just have a moment of silence for those lives lost, you know, 19 years ago today, through the horrific tragedy that happened on September 11th. So we'll just take a few moments of silence for those individuals. All right. Thank you for that. And I also just want to acknowledge that we are going through some crazy times, right? There's the pandemic, there's racial injustices that are showing its ugly face now. There are your own personal situations that you have going on. I just want to commend each and every one of you for taking the time today and investing in yourself to say, hey, despite what's going on, I want to still build my personal brand and show up in the space with more intention and more productivity. So I want to acknowledge all of you for that. And with that being said, we can continue moving forward. So I would like to say that for this, as I've mentioned a couple times already, this is going to be interactive. So I am going to need you to bring the following. If you don't have it, while I'm talking, you could be grabbing these things. I'd love for you to have a pen and a paper or a whiteboard if you have one. And I want you to have an open mind. Because there are going to be some things that I'm going to ask you to do and have you share and engage with. And I would really love for you to bring an open mind as we go through this workshop together. Also, participation is going to be really helpful. As it relates to just building your brand, it's really important that you get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay, that's something that you'll hear me share a couple times throughout this workshop. And I want us to have fun with this, right? So a smile. I was sharing earlier that my aunt shared something with me that if you go a day without laughter, then you've wasted a day in your life. So despite whatever is happening, there should be always something that brings you at least a smile across your face. And I want you to at least bring that with you throughout this workshop. Can I get a thumbs up in a virtual agreement? Yes, absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much. All right, so let's keep it going. So what I'd like for you to do very quickly, if you can, I would like for you to just introduce yourself. So we're gonna do rapid fire, right? I just want people to just kind of say, hey, it's my name, pronouns, and just at least one thing that you hope to walk away with at the end of this session, excuse me. We want to start off with a sense of intentionality. So we're going to kind of popcorn it real quick. So whoever wants to go for it first, just unmute yourself and name your pronouns and what's one thing that you want to walk away with at the end of this session.
All right, I'll break the
Can you
ice.
guys hear me?
Oh. You can go.
Yes, no, yes, no. Can anybody hear me? No.
We can hear you.
Wait, because it's muted. Okay, if you can hear me, I'm just going to keep talking. My name is Vicky Nieves. I go by she or her, and what I would like to walk away with is just something that is brand new to me that requires me to have an open mind.
Fantastic, thank you. Next, go.
All right, my name is Pri. It's Priscilla, but everybody calls me Pri. And what I want to walk away with this is I want to be like you. So I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. That's all I want to take away.
Nice, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next.
I'm Kara Winger, she, her, and I want to figure out who I am outside of overcoming injury. That feels like my brand, but I want it to be more.
Nice, awesome. Okay, next.
I'm Emily Sweeney, she, her, and I have a very similar feeling to that. I also want to figure out what there is more to me beyond the whole overcoming injury and sports situation.
Got it, thank you. Next, love it.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ashley Walker, she, her, and I just want to know more about like what my brand would be as a professional overseas athlete.
Okay, thank you. All right, next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mirella. I, she, her, and I want to get a little sense of what value I have to add, to give to sponsors, to the community. So that's what I'm looking to gain. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next.
Hi, I'm Katora, and she and her, and I'm just looking to learn to learn how to show more about my personality on social media. I feel like I'm a pretty private person, so just want to learn how to show who I am more in public.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully you'll like the last activity we have at the end of this, so keep that in mind. Next.
Hi.
We had two people.
Jana, you're up.
All right. Hi, Jana Hefford, she, her. And I think what I want to get out of it is I think my branding beyond sports and some tangible tools that I work with a number of athletes, so tangible tools I can share with them.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll go next. Mine's similar. My name's Lauren Gibbs. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy. I want to know also my brand beyond an Olympian, because I think everybody wants to pigeonhole you as just that. So I'd like to be more versatile.
Awesome. Thank you. Next.
Hi, I'm Adriana Nora, or Red, she, her. I want to be able to make more of a brand for myself so I can start getting sponsors and be like known for something.
Nice. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Next.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Seeley. I want to create my brand as an athlete, not a disabled athlete.
Awesome. Thank you. Who do we have left?
Yes, my name is Michelle, and she, her, queen, diva, I will do it all. I would like to walk away with, at the end of this session, just to kind of fine tune my brand some more.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Kendall Wessenberg. I use she, her pronouns, and I'd like to walk away, with a more fine-tuned idea of what my brand is.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Are we missing anyone? All right. I'm going to take that as a no, and I'm going to keep us going. So thank you all for sharing that. I've heard the similarities of what you all wanting to get out of this, which is great. And actually, because I am one that loves to just be very responsive to the needs of those who are in the room, I'm actually going to make a small adjustment to this deck and to this presentation while we're doing it. Don't worry, because I already have these additional slides set up just in preparation for anything that will happen. And so we're definitely going to make sure that you all walk away with that, that you all have mentioned, as far as just really getting to understand who you are outside of your injuries, outside of what you are known for, and really getting to the heart of how you can share your narrative. So what I want to do is I want to break down sort of this, this concept here, broke, or, not having enough, or a budget, right? So let's talk about this word. Now, I know that the title of the workshop is branding on a budget, and you may not consider yourself quote unquote broke, which is fantastic. At least one of you may be like, well, yeah, that word is kind of me, but I'm not going to say anything about that, right? So either way, let's unpack it. When most people use this term or hear it, they immediately think that it's something severe financially, like this image that you see. But broke, as I've learned through my own experience and speaking with different leaders and reading about other influencers, some who are extremely wealthy, is that this idea of a budget or being broke has absolutely nothing to do with money. Instead, it has everything to do with a mindset. And so, yes, so in the space, that it is really essentially the space in between where you are and where you're trying to go, accomplish, or be, right? That is the sort of budget, if you will, that we're going to be working within. How do we get you from where you are currently to where you aspire to be? And what does that aspirational self look like, right? So I want to also talk about what a brand is, right? So a brand is essentially a story. It is a story that's being told about a product, a service, or an individual. The perception of that narrative determines the brand. An effective brand is more than just a logo, right? So how many of you are familiar with this particular brand here? Show of hands, right? Yeah. So for those of you who aren't, Supreme is an American skateboarding shop and clothing brand established in New York City in April of 1994. The brand caters to the skateboarding and hip hop culture as well as the youth culture in general. So are they the only ones providing these products or catering to this demographic? No, but many know them, and it's extremely popular because of how consistent they are telling their story that makes them effective. Their brand is not just their logo. Believe it or not, companies like this, Supreme, also use the principles that we're gonna cover to help build an effective brand and share powerful stories. Now I know that this is a company with staff and products, etc. And you may be saying, okay, Vincent, well, I'm not a company. I don't have any products to sell just yet, or nor do I have a desire to create a company to sell products. Well, that's all well and good, but the reality is this: whether you know it or not, you already have a brand, okay? So as an athlete, as a professional, as a friend, as a partner, as a parent, you have a brand. There is a story that you are telling about yourself to others. The problem for many that I've seen is that they aren't aware of this story. They're creating a narrative about themselves that they don't control. You might be that person unaware of how you're showing up to people. Your story, your brand should be in your hands. You should be the narrator of your own story. When you move through this life with that understanding, you become more aware of those opportunities that can help you build an effective brand. And then others are more aware of who you are and become interested in wanting to connect with you for maybe sponsorship and other types of opportunities that Parity is going to be helping you with. So the 4 principles we will cover will help you do this immediately. So what are these 4 principles that I've alluded to? Well, here they are. Setting the intention, utilize resources, partnerships, and make the first step. So we're gonna go through each one of these 4 principles to help you unpack this and start to develop and bring light to the narrative that is your brand. Go to the first one. So when it comes to setting the intention, I want to start by sharing this case study. It was while working as a clerk at Brooks Brothers that Lauren questioned whether men were ready for wider and brighter designs and ties. The year he decided, underline decided, to make his dream a reality, in 1967, Lauren sold $500,000 worth of ties. He started Polo the next year. So Ralph Lauren is who I'm speaking to, is an American fashion designer, philanthropist, and billionaire businessman, best known for Ralph Lauren Corporation, a global multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Ralph Lauren made up his mind and set an intention that seemed outrageous. And that is something that your personal brand and narrative is going to require you to do, is to set very clear intentions about what you want to achieve. But before you're able to do that, the first activity and the thing that oftentimes prevents people from doing that very thing is something that frightens them. So what I want you to do with your pen, your paper, or your whiteboard is I want you to write down what scares you. So I'm going to give you just about maybe a little under 2 minutes to write down what scares you. In the context I want you to be thinking about is your future. What prevents you, what you're scared of that's not allowing you to move forward with putting your narrative out there or starting to, and you fill in the blank. So what is that thing that scares you from doing that or preventing you from doing that? All right, I'll give you a few more seconds. All right. So now I want us to move into the next way in which to set intentions. And that is, I want you to write down what is one thing that you want to accomplish in the next 3 months. It can be as small or as big as you like. And I want you to consider, it could be the thing that prompted you to join this workshop today. A few more seconds. And also, I want to just give you sort of a snapshot to what's coming down in the later part of this workshop. Whatever you write down, please keep it near you because you're going to need it for our final activity later on in this workshop, all right? This next one, what are you passionate about? Now, I don't want you to write this one down. Well, you can, but what I want you to do with this is I want you to actually share this with us, okay? So in less than 30 seconds, you all, just like you introduced yourself and you talked about what you wanted to get out of this workshop, I want you to share in 30 seconds what you are passionate about. So I'll start with mine. I'm passionate about helping leaders through design thinking methodologies. All of you are leaders, and this is a part of what drives me, okay? So that's what I'm passionate about. So I want you all to share your version of what you are passionate about. And just like what we did with the introductions, I want you to rapid fire, and we're gonna go through all of you, okay? So who would like to go first? What are you passionate about?
Hi, I'm Michelle. I am passionate about empowering women to live confidently.
Thank you. Awesome. Next.
Emily.
Laura Gibbs. Oh, go ahead. Nope.
Okay, Emily Sweeney. I am passionate about the pursuit of excellence in sport.
Awesome. Thank you.
Laura Gibbs, changing the world.
Nice. Next.
Scott, and I'm passionate about helping people build their resilience factor in order to accomplish their goals.
Fantastic. Thank you. Next.
Hi, Ashley Walker, and I'm passionate about empowering women through sports.
Awesome. Next.
Jana Hefford, I'm passionate about women's sport and providing equal opportunity for young girls.
Thank you. Awesome. Next.
I'm Pri. And I'm passionate about making people better around me, empowering my female players, and helping chase and realize their dreams.
Awesome. Thank you. Next.
I'm Katora, and I'm passionate about mentoring and investing in young women and just seeing growth in young women, especially women of color.
Awesome. Thank you. Next.
Hi, everybody. It's Mimi Marilla. I'm passionate about community development and female empowerment, especially young females and sport and staying in sport.
Awesome. Thank you. Next.
Hi, it's Nikki. I'm passionate about spreading the Paralympic movement, representation in all factors, both inside and outside of sport, and I'm passionate about just becoming the best person that I can be.
Fantastic. Next.
This is Alyssa Seeley. I'm passionate about helping others achieve health and fitness, or through fitness.
Awesome. Thank you. Next.
This is Adriana, and I just want to make people want to be a better person.
Thank you. Next.
This is Kara. I'm passionate about strong relationships in all areas of my life, including with my dog and just being a good teammate, whatever that looks like.
Great. Thank you. Next. Is there anyone who has not gone? All right. Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you all for sharing that and putting and setting that intention and letting us know what it is that you are passionate about. We're going to continue working through this and going into the next one where we're going to dig a little bit deeper now in terms of really getting clarity about essentially what you're moving towards. And so this next prompt, I have had people kind of pause, really take a minute, and we're stumped by this because not oftentimes do we think about this particular question, and that is, what does your ideal day look like? I want you to start from in the morning and go to the end of the day. You're gonna share this, but you're not gonna share this with all of us. I'm going to put you all in breakout rooms, so you'll be paired with someone else, and each of you is going to share with one another your ideal day, all right? What is the life that you desire? It's hard to work your way towards there or towards that place unless you can absolutely identify it, all right? So with that being said, let me get to what I need to get to make sure I can do that. Okay, why is it not showing up? Give me 1 second here.
Vincent, I can put everybody into 8 different rooms.
Yeah, can you do that? Because the screen is not.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Fantastic. And according to the numbers, we should have an even number, so it should be 2 people in a room. That's the goal.
Yes, hold on 1 second.
Okay, and as you're doing that, I just want to let everyone know that you're going to have about 2 minutes per person to share, 2.5 minutes to share what your ideal day is, okay?
All right, here we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. I am Minji, so I'm guessing you're not Minji. I think you used my link from the meeting request. What's
oh my
your
gosh.
No, it's okay. What's your name?
How did this happen? It's Mimi.
We sent out a link, and I think they're actually personalized. I set up the room. So you just clicked on the link that we sent out, which is what you should have done. So everything is okay.
Whoops. So sorry. I'm just in the middle of a workout, but we're doing the ideal day for, okay. And as a group or individual?
Individually.
Individually. Sarah, do you want to go first? I can go if you're, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. My ideal day. Okay, maybe it is putting me on the spot a bit.
Dang, guys, come on.
I'll go. Okay, so ideal day, wake up around maybe 7, have like an espresso, a coffee with some nice smooth cream in there, like almond milk or something tasty. Go for a walk with the dog somewhere in nature, mountains, lake. That would be perfect. And then just hop on the computer, get busy with my emails, responding to things. I'm in school right now, so probably doing some school. And then get a little lift going. An amazing lunch. I see myself by the sea having some mussels, maybe some barbecued shrimp. And then afternoon, I feel like I got so much done in the morning, so I'll take a cocktail by the water. And yeah, I've already lifted, so what else is left to do? Read a book and just relax, wind down from my busy morning, and go for another walk with the dog or friend, meet up with a friend, have another cocktail maybe. I don't know. This is the ideal day, right? So I can have as many cocktails without repercussions, right?
Totally.
That's kind of, yeah, let's go with that. A nice evening dinner as well. I hear waves, the sunset, sun is setting. I didn't go for a swim, so maybe I'll do an after dinner swim.
Awesome. Are you on the water?
No. But for some reason, I guess I'm drawn to it. No, I live in Calgary, and I've been going to the mountains for just Canmore. We have beautiful lakes, freezing. You never want to actually swim in them. We use them as cold tubs, but maybe I see myself living on the ocean one day. Who knows?
I hope it happens.
Me too.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
No worries.
Sarah, have you thought of anything, or you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I can go next.
All right.
I can't promise it'll be as good as yours, but
it'll be better.
So I also like, wake up early, maybe around, my early's 8. Go for like a run for half an hour. And then go into the city and go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And then, walk around for like maybe like 2-3 hours, and then come back home and go to the beach for the rest of the day with like really good waves, like waves that like you can boogie board down the water with. And then, it'll still be sunny at that point, hopefully, and then I'll fall asleep in the sun and then wake up, read a book. I won't be burnt. Yeah.
Minji, I think we're heading back into the big room. Do you want to go quick too? Sarah, that sounded amazing.
I'm okay, but I will close this room. So we'll see you back in the other room.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's hope Vincent makes it back to our big room.
That was definitely a question I had, like, should we go back or should we just stay? They gonna cut us out?
Vincent, you're on mute.
I just saw it. Thank you. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Reading this. Get ready. Lauren, you are hilarious. So how was that for you? One of the things, before you answer, I would like, not everyone to answer, but I would like a couple people to share that before we get into the next section. And before you do share, I would like to also offer that as I was sharing my ideal day with Adriana, and she was sharing with me hers, that it's really important to have an understanding of what this scenario looks like for you, because you're able to make different kinds of decisions as it relates to how you show up online, the messages that you're putting out there, who you connect with, the opportunities, the brands that align with you, etc., because you're moving towards essentially whatever that day is that you've created that is ideal, that has everything in place. That's what you essentially are trying to target. So really making sure that you're clear in your mind first about what that looks like is going to help you as you continue to build your narrative and your brand. Without that context of that ideal day, it makes it much more difficult for you to navigate the space of who you are as it relates to your brand, because you're kind of like fishing and kind of pulling at different things that may seem like it's closely related to what you want, but it really isn't. So again, if you are struggling with what your ideal day was, I want you, for homework, because you're gonna have a couple homework assignments in this, for homework, is to really take a moment and think about what is your ideal day. And when you are doing that on your own, I want you to be as specific as possible. What are you having for breakfast? What are you doing after breakfast? Are you going on a run? Are you meeting with your significant other? What's happening there? Where are you? Are you in a different place in the world? Are you working on a project? I really want you to be as specific as you possibly can when you're thinking about your ideal day on your own. This was just to get you started and being able to start being open and vulnerable and sharing that with other people in this space. So with that being said, now I want to hear from at least one or two of you how that experience was sharing your ideal day. Yeah, Adriana, go for it.
For me, this is extremely difficult because I am not good with speaking or kind of telling my business and stuff like that. So for me, and I get stuck with Vincent, of course, too. So I sat there and I was just like, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm turning red and sweating. And he's like, what's your ideal day? I said, wake up and play with puppies. And kind of really new to this whole thing. And to hear him and kind of how he like really blocked it out, it's like, wow, I have so much to learn. And he helped me correlate from what I want to do in my everyday life and how I want to connect it to who I want to be and how I want to kind of go into that. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know that. I'm so glad I was paired with you there. That's so fantastic. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You did great, by the way. So who would like to share next?
I will.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this because it kind of reminds me to dream big.
Yeah.
Like what would I want to do? So I went future me. I went like, I woke up, I prayed, I pressed the button to open the electronic curtains on my bedroom, walked to my bedroom, I got dressed, I put my makeup on, I curled my hair, I walked downstairs and my chef is cooking me breakfast and I eat breakfast and watch TV for a little bit. Then I go, I didn't add this in, but I should have. I need to add, get my kids ready for the day. Then I go to my office and I'm working a little bit, then I have to go run a couple of errands, eat lunch, then I come back home, work a little bit more, then it's time to wind down, then my chef is cooking dinner, we having family time, and we wind down for the day.
Love it, Michelle. That is awesome. That is really great. I love how specific you were and you thinking about the barriers being removed, right? Like there are no limitations. This is, again, this is not your present day. This is your ideal day. This is barriers removed, you in a situation that you ultimately want to be in, that's going to make you feel more alive, be more your full self. And so whatever that is and however that looks like, go ahead and paint that picture and continue to do so. So I love that, Michelle. And I think that you could probably go even deeper with some specifics as it relates to your ideal day, but that was fantastic. That was really good.
Thank you.
Jared. I want to also note here before we move on to the next one is that I recently had someone who went through this exercise through the branding workshop, and they text me, they said, oh my gosh, I just realized I just had my ideal day. And it happens, it can work in that way. So let's continue to move through this because I want that to be your story as well. So the next thing that we are gonna cover is, so after you set the intention, you have an idea of what it is that you want to accomplish, what scares you so that you're aware of the things that could be barriers in your progress as it relates to your brand. The next thing is utilizing resources. So I want to share this. According to the Independent, Kwon taught himself computer skills in 2009. He co-founded the world's largest mobile messaging service, WhatsApp, which was purchased by Facebook for $22 billion in 2014. So he is a Ukrainian-American billionaire, entrepreneur, and computer programmer. He's also the co-founder of and CEO, or was the CEO of WhatsApp before it was sold. Now, the reason why I share this case study is because he used what he had and added a new skill to him to create the product that we use today. There are many more examples of those that have used exactly what they had access to at the time to build their brand. The distraction of comparison to others can cause us to miss the resources that are right in front of us, all right? So how do we get access to utilizing the resources that we have in front of us? Well, that takes us into our next activity. Now, this isn't your whole story, but I want you to think about the skills and the talents you have that are not just connected to you as an athlete, but that is connected to you as a human being, right? Your speaking, the way in which you, how you engage with other people, what are the skills and talents that you have that are inclusive of you as an athlete, but are not limited to. So I want you to list out those skills and those talents. So I'm gonna give you another maybe minute or two. Let's do 2 minutes since that's our time.
Can you say that again for me, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want you to write down a list of skills and talents that you have that are inclusive of you, of those that are associated with you as an athlete. So you can write down the things that are connected to you as an athlete, but I also want you to include things that are independent of sports, right? So you as a person, what are some other skills and talents that you have? And this is not a time to be shy. Just a note, I'm not gonna have you share that with people, so you can brag as much as you want to as you write this down. Are you a good listener? Things like that. Less than a minute left. All right. So now that you have that, we're gonna move on. I want you to list out some of your professional experiences. Now, again, this is not just about you as a professional athlete. This is you as a professional athlete and someone else, and the other things that you are trained in doing or have done and can do. Give you a few more seconds left on this. All right. And then the last one, your accomplishments. Again, these are not just about your accomplishments as an athlete. This is also your accomplishments as it relates to you being a parent, you being a student, you being, someone who is at your job, who accomplished, some sort of goal that you had at work. I want you to write down, list out all of those accomplishments that you have. This is not the time to be shy about it. Really go in and brag about yourself. It could even be as simple as you've been consistent in terms of your regimen as it relates to doing some work, right? Given this crazy pandemic time that we're in. A few more seconds. All right, now I want you to take a look at what you've written down, the skills and talents, your professional experiences, and your accomplishments. Where are the similarities? What is the common thread in each of the categories? For your homework number 2, you are going to identify how what you wrote down aligns with what you're passionate about, how what you wrote down also connects to the goal that you want to achieve within the next 3 months, and how you're going to start to utilize those things to help you accomplish that goal, okay? So I'm gonna say that again. Your homework is you're going to look at all of the skills and talents, your professional experiences, your accomplishments, and you're going to look at them, throw them up on a wall if you need to, write them each down on a Post-it note, and put them on a wall and start to look at what are the themes and what are the connections that you're seeing with what you've written down. And then also, you're going to look at how these things connect to the goal that you want to accomplish in the next 3 months that you identified earlier on in this workshop. And also how you can utilize those skills, talents, your professional experiences, the things that you've accomplished. How can you activate those things to help you accomplish the goal that you have for the next 3 months? Okay, that is your homework. I also want to note that in you doing this, I want you to get out of the mindset of looking for things that you don't have right now, right? Use what you have, and as you can see from what you wrote down, you have plenty. You have plenty of skills and talents, plenty of professional experiences, plenty of accomplishments that are both connected to you as an athlete and outside of you as an athlete. And you can utilize those things right now to start building your narrative that you're going to be using as you move forward, whether it's through social media or through potential partnerships, all right? And when we get to the last part of this, we'll start to create and craft what that statement, without giving too much away, what that would look like, all right? But that's gonna be your homework. Awesome. Any questions about that? Okay, cool. All right, let's move to the next piece. So the third part are partnerships, okay? And this is a big one. So I'll share this case study. Red Bull Stratus was a high altitude diving project involving Australian skydiver Felix Baumgartner. On the 14th of October 2012, he flew approximately 39 kilometers into the stratosphere over New Mexico, United States, in a helium balloon before free falling in a pressure suit and then parachuting to Earth. Now, I'm sure many of you might be familiar with this. This was a partnership with GoPro, where GoPro used its knowledge within the extreme sports space, i.e. sourcing athletes and adventurers from around the world, filming epic content and sharing it online, while Red Bull used its sponsorship of major events to advertise the campaign. Both brands delivering and both brands gaining massive exposure. Now, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this as an example. These are two independent companies that are doing very well on their own. There is no necessary need for them to get together to have done this particular event, but they did. And because they did, it helped to grow both of their brands. So if GoPro and Red Bull, and there's several other companies who are constantly doing this, as well as doing it with individuals, because you cannot build a successful brand or an effective brand, I will say, on your own. The reality is that we cannot do this on our own. We need someone else. We need partnership, especially during times that are difficult. But there is a specific way to do this and to establish this that is uplifting and not depleting. All right. So when we're establishing connection and building relationships with partners or individuals that'll help us put our brand out there, there are 4 areas in which we need to look at when we are establishing, say, partnerships with other brands or with other people. And so we're going to go through that. But the first thing that you're going to do before we go through those 4 steps is I want you to, what just happened? Okay. I want you to list out your top 5 people in your support system. This is going to be very important for the final piece in this workshop. So who are these people? These are the people that you speak with often, you text, you share stories with, they hold you accountable. Who are these 5 people? Your starting 5. I'm not going to give you too much time on this because I'm sure that you have those people right at the top of your mind. All right, Now that you have those people written down, keep them very close. The next piece, the first piece that we're going to look at when it comes to establishing partnerships or helping you to put your brand out there with people is by deciding or identifying what is it that you have to give, okay? As you think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish in the next few months and you need help with, what is something that you have to offer? You want to ask yourself that. So when you're looking at, you know, a potential company brand, etc., what is it that you have to offer? And I'll give you a hint. You just wrote down a list of skills, talents, accomplishments, and also your professional experience. So you have plenty to choose from, but you want to find the one that's relevant to that individual, that opportunity, that company, that brand, etc. All right? So again, we're moving with intention. So you're clear about what is it that you have to give, all right? So that's the first step. The next piece is then being very clear, what do you need, right? So in this partnership formation, okay, I'm going to provide or give you this because I'm really good at listening, or I'm really good at engaging people, or people have or respond really well to me. But this is also what I need because I am trying to build this particular brand, okay? So be very clear about what is it that you need, okay? And now this is all, each of these are gonna show up differently for different types of partnerships that you form. And again, when I talk partnerships, I'm not just exclusively talking about companies with brands. I'm also talking about individuals like your top 5, right? Because they could be very instrumental in helping you put your narrative out there and be intentional about your brand. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, after you've identified your give and you've identified what you need, the third thing is identifying what do you all have in common, right? It's not enough for you to be able to say, okay, hey, you do a really great thing, right? And I have this really great thing that I need and I want to give you this. But what is it that you share? When you look at the case study that I shared earlier about GoPro and Red Bull, they both were dealing with the same sort of audience as it relates to athletes and extreme sports, right? So there was a commonality that they already had going into their partnership. And you want to be able to identify that yourself before going into a said partnership. So that's number 3. And then the final piece is how can you exchange with one another? So what does that transaction actually look like, right? Is that a campaign that you do? Is that an event that you participate in? Is that speaking engagement? However, what does that exchange actually look like between you and the other partner? And being very clear about what that looks like. All right. So again, as a recap, you're first going to identify what is it that you have to give, what is it that you need, what is it that you and the partner have in common, and how you're going to do this exchange. Okay. And again, when you're looking at partnerships with individuals and with companies, answering these 4 things are going to show up slightly differently, but you're going to be pulling from the same sort of resources as it relates to who you are, what you've identified as your skills, as your talent, your professional experiences, etc. Okay? So that again, this ties back to that very first part of you building your brand, and that is being extremely intentional. Okay? Now, the last part, which is probably the most difficult part, is making the first step. So I want to share this. Looking for her next move, she sent an audition tape to WLS TV in Chicago. They gave her the AM Chicago morning talk show, which became so successful, it became the Oprah Winfrey Show and was syndicated nationally. So we know this brand. This is Oprah Winfrey, who is talk show host, media executive, actress, and billionaire and philanthropist. But what's important to note about this particular case study and this woman is that she put herself out there. She was vulnerable. She did not let fear stop her. She made the first step, okay? So what does that look like for you all? Well, here we go. Remember that goal I said to keep very near because it's going to come back up? Well, here it is. I want you all to make that first step. I want you to step outside of your comfort zone, and I want you to be vulnerable in sharing what you are up to or what you're going to be up to for the next 3 months. You're going to share this with one of your top 5 individuals. So I've provided here a sample text message to help you to send this, because you're going to send it right now. You're not going to send, this is not a homework assignment. This is a, I'm going to do this right now moment. And so here we go. I think my screen, is my screen still sharing? No? Okay, I just noticed that. Let me go there. Let me make sure that's sharing because that's not good. Okay, can you see it now? You can see it? Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. I don't know where it went. But so here's the sample text message that you are going to send out. Again, right now during this, you're going to put yourself out there. Make the first step. So for those of you who may not be able to see this, I will read it to you. The sample text message goes as follows. Hey, maybe you don't like to start off with hey, but hey, insert the name of the person you're reaching out to. I just finished taking taking a personal brand workshop. I've decided that the next 3 months, I will insert the thing that you said that you're going to do in the next 3 months. Will you hold me accountable? And you have to have them respond with either a yes or a no, okay? This is really putting you and putting yourself out there to get you started with sharing your brand and your narrative. Remember how I started off by saying you already have a narrative that is being shared with the people that you're closest with, right? So now I'm having you take ownership of that and say, this is what I'm going to be doing in the next 3 months. Can you hold me accountable? Yes or no? I'll give you a few minutes to craft that and send that text message. I cannot see all of you with your phones, but I trust that you are doing it. Okay. And again, you're only sending this to one of the people on your top 5, right? Okay. All right. Now, while you have your phone, how many of you, it should be all of you, but I'm gonna ask, how many of you are set up, have an Instagram, you have an Instagram account, etc., right? Show of hands, okay. All of you, yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, guess what? You're gonna share this on social media now. Oh yeah. It's not just gonna be your top 5, now you're putting it out there, okay? However you wanna, if you wanna attach a photo, you wanna put it just as words, but I want you to now share what you're up to on social media. And again, this is not gonna be a homework assignment. This is something I want you to do right now. And when doing this, I want you to, we're going to all, in the chat window, after you have made your post, I want each of you to share your Instagram handle. And because there are 20 some odd, 26 of you here, that each of you will now get an opportunity to go to each other's post and like that or comment and say yes or no, but I want you to engage with that, okay? So again, and no, it feels icky. It's like, wait a minute, Vincent, I don't even feel like this thing is gonna happen. I'm not quite sure when, I still have some more planning to do. No, you don't have any more planning to do. We've just identified the thing that you want to accomplish in the next 3 months. We now need you to get you moving in the direction of doing so with the narrative or with an understanding of who you are. And to do so, we have to put it out there to get the things moving. And I'm going to share with you a personal story at the end of this, how this has worked for myself. But I included a sample descriptor. You don't have to use this. You can use a version of this. On here, it says, hey, y'all, I just finished taking a personal brand workshop. You can say with me, you don't have to, that's not really relevant or important. I've decided in the next 3 months, I will, whatever that thing is, will you all hold me accountable? Yes or no? Okay. This also allows for you to even see and do a timeline, say, oh, in the next 3 months, you know, you can look back and see how things have gone. But I want you to make that first step. And then, like I said, once you have that post created, you put it out there. This could just be in your text, and you just put a picture, a nice picture of yourself, or something that just captures or closely connects to maybe the thing that you want to accomplish. But whatever image you decide to use, that's really not the main thing. The main piece is by you putting this text in your post, okay? And after you do that, I want you to share in the chat window your Instagram handle so that all of us can go to it very quickly and engage by just liking it. You don't have to do a full comment, and engage with it. All right, thank you, Pri. Pri shared hers. And I'm going to, boom. Thank you, Parody. They will share with the community. Yep, and if you're driving, totally understand. You can complete it afterwards. Fantastic. I'm gonna go and find you all, and I am going to engage with it and engage with your posts. Yeah, we are not leaving this workshop without you putting yourself and being very intentional about what you're doing. So all right, boom. This is so great. Yeah, and if you put yours in stories, please let us know that. All right, we're gonna spend just a couple more minutes doing this because I really want everyone to engage with this. I don't want you to just kind of skip past this because this is really important. This is oftentimes where people get stuck as it relates to their narrative and putting themselves out there. So it's like, I'll do this another time. I'm not ready. You're never going to be ready. Okay. Thank you all for engaging and for doing this. This is fantastic. So glad you're doing this. Spend another minute on this. If you, by the time if you still haven't gotten to every single person that's on the chat, try to capture the handles so that you can get to it and complete it before the end. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm gonna put all of yours. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna move on because I want to get to the other piece that I said that I wanted to add into this deck based on what you all were sharing with me earlier. So it's gonna be a quick pivot. But before I get to that additional piece, I want to get to your brand statement. So your brand statement essentially is a statement that you are able to use that helps to capture a part of who you are and help you to move with intentionality. So when someone says, hey, what are you up to? Or what do you do? Or what are you trying to do? You can use this brand statement to really showcase who you are and what you're up to. In your brand statement, it should have the following, and I'm going to give you some examples. And the piece that I've decided to add in here is some additional ways to help you form this brand statement. All right. So before we get there, though, it should be 7 words or less. Okay. So you want to keep it short, keep it positive, using positive attributes. Refer to what you know about yourself and what you want to accomplish, right? Again, you have tons of things that you've already identified earlier on in this workshop that you can pull from. You want to make it actionable. Your brand statement should be identifying something that you are doing or that you're going to do or that you're essentially up to. And you're not just limited to having one. You can have several brand statements. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, I will share with you mine. Hold on. So here is one of them. When it comes to design leadership, this is what I use as my brand statement. Help leaders transform lives through design thinking. That's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Another brand statement that I have is when talking about legacy, because that's also something that is important to me, is legacy. So I've created a brand statement around legacy, and it goes, orchestrate opportunities to sustain a legacy. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when creating these brand statements, the process that I went through and that I've had others go through is that you sit with the things that you've already identified earlier on in this workshop, and you distill them into first the areas or the categories that align with what you're trying to do moving forward. And then taking the things that you've identified as far as your skills, talents, your experience, then you form a statement that supports that, right? As I mentioned in introducing each one of these, the one around leadership is specifically talking to leaders. The one about legacy, if I'm in a conversation, I want to talk about what I'm up to as it relates to my personal brand and legacy. This is what I am about, orchestrating opportunities to sustain a legacy, right? This allows for you to, one, move with more intention as it relates to the things that you take on. It also helps to spark a conversation that makes people more interested about how they can either engage with you or what you're up to or how you're actually making this thing happen, okay? I actually have several more brand statements for different areas, but they all connect to each other in some form or fashion, and they all still pull from what I have done, what I am up to, and essentially who I am as an individual. Any questions about this before I move on to the last few pieces? No? Okay. All right. So how do I want to do? This is where the pivot happens. So I'm thinking what I will do is I'm gonna continue moving on, and then I'm gonna add the piece that I said I'm gonna add in here. So that is story. So I want to share a story with you, and the reason why I'm going to share this story with you is because it's me showing you that I not only am telling you or asking you or suggesting that you do these things, I also want to show you that these 4 things that I have seen happen or occur within organizations as far as setting the intention, utilizing resources, establishing partnerships, and making the first step, that those 4 things are something that you see happen time and time again with effective brands. This is also something that I have been utilizing to help sort of propel me as I continue to develop and strengthen my own brand. So this one quick story really involves an article that I wrote earlier this year, and I'm going to share that with you and sort of tell you and highlight the areas that how it relates to what I just shared, the principles I just shared with you. So I made a post on LinkedIn that said that I quit my job, and it was during the pandemic, and this was a follow-up to that. So here's the story. I'm going to just read the article. Many of you have inquired about my next move. Before I share that, I'd like to say that although I've resigned from my full-time role at GA NYC, I will still teach and contribute to the global community as a contractor whenever the opportunities align. So what's next for me? Well, with my 20 years of being in the design industry, 10 years as an entrepreneur, and 5 years as an educator, it's time I stretch a little further in my career. When I started my design journey in middle school, I knew I wanted to merge my love for creative problem solving and exploration with helping people. I thought the best way to do this would be to become a product designer that focuses on medical devices such as a CT scanner. Obviously, that didn't happen. However, I have been able to use design thinking as a means to help people solve problems for their business, career, and sometimes personal life. It's truly been a blessing, and helping people will always be my why. That's why in the next phase of my journey, I will focus on the following 4 areas: designing products that solve problems I care about, lead workshops that support entrepreneurs and design professionals, speak on more global platforms, educate people through writing. Each of these 4 areas will require me to consistently push beyond my comfort zone. Am I looking forward to that? To be honest, not really. I'm excited about the people I will learn from, the partnerships I will form, the discoveries I will make, and the people I will help. My ask, join me on this journey. If you know of any speaking opportunities that sound like I would be a good fit, share them with me. If you come across a workshop that I'm leading and it addresses something that you're trying to figure out, sign up. If you read one of my articles and like what is being said, share it with others. I don't intend on going on this journey alone. I plan on taking my global tribe with me. Hint, that's you. You are my source of inspiration. Thanks for taking the time to learn about my transition. I don't take our connection for granted. Now, why am I sharing you this article? It's not to put me in any position, but it is to say that everything that I've said in here are things that I've asked you all to do. And by me being very intentional about what I am up to and how I am doing that and what I offer, what I have to give and what I am asking for, I will say that when this was set on May 18th, 2020, I was not writing anything other than this article or writing anything professionally for any organization, etc. I was not on anyone's list to speak on any global platforms. I did not have any workshops upcoming that I was addressing, nor was I designing any specific product to help people and problems that I care about. Since writing this, I'm currently designing a product that is going to help people that I care about. This workshop is one of the workshops in which I have been doing since writing this article, as well as some coming up. I have 2 conferences that I will be speaking at that are global since posting this, and the educating people through writing, which I want to say is the thing that I felt most uncomfortable with because I am not comfortable with my writing. That is the thing that I feel that I don't do as well, but I knew that because I am connected to sharing and communicating and connect with people, that this was another form in which I can do so. So I put myself out there in being uncomfortable and sharing something that I'm not so confident in, but know that it's a part of my sort of repertoire or things that need to accomplish. And since that, I have been asked to be a contributing writer for one of the largest design softwares, Adobe, for their XD. Again, I share that not to brag about myself, but to say that when you start to move with intention, your brand becomes much more clear and it makes it much easier for people to want to engage with you and partner with you on ways that allows for you to be able to move with intention and have that ideal day that you identified in the very beginning. Okay, so that does require you to be uncomfortable and say, hey, I'm gonna just share this with you. I was not comfortable with sharing this particular article with people, but I did it anyway, just like you did with your Instagram posts, right? And start to move in that capacity. So with that being said, we only have a few minutes left. I want to actually just share with you, I'm not gonna show the slides, but I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to get to the information. And this is what I want you to do to help you get more clarity about your narrative that's already showing up to people. Let me just find my slides. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Let me find it.
While you're looking for your slides, what should we say being held accountable look like for the person who is going to support us?
So for them, that's a great question. For them, it is a reminder, say, hey, how are you doing with that thing that you said you were up to, right? It's as simple as just an askable question, right? That they have to ask you. So if they say yes, and they say, well, how do you want me to hold you accountable? Then you can say, check in with me every 2 weeks and see how I'm doing on the thing that I said that I'm up to.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So I got my slides up, but they're not in a position to share. Again, these were backups to give you more if we had time, and I think it's very relevant. So this is homework assignment number 3, and this is going to help you to understand your narrative. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a UX design methodology that's used to make really effective products, and you're going to apply it to your own brand. And that is conducting very intentional research about yourself. So you're going to have an interview with at least 3 people, and this interview is going to be about you. And these are the questions that I want you to ask these people. And these could be your top 5, because again, these top 5 are the people that you trust, that you confide in, etc. So the first question that you're going to ask them is, describe your most memorable time with me. Okay.
I'm sorry, did you have a slide, or you say you didn't have the slide?
I didn't have a slide.
Oh, okay.
So what I could do, you know what? We family now at this point.
Do you mind typing it in the chat, maybe? Or someone who's like not like at a computer, maybe typing it as he's saying it? That would be fantastic.
Yes. So we'll do both. So if someone can do that, and I'm going to actually put up the slide as well, even though I don't like how it looks, but that's okay. We're family, no judgment. Here we go. But I had this. Here we go. So this is about getting to know you. Describe your most memorable time with me. This is what you're asking the person. That's question 1. Okay. Question 2, what 3 words would you use to describe me and why? What 3 words would you use to describe me and why? The next question, how do I make you feel when I'm around? How do I make you feel when I'm around? Those are the 3 questions that I want you to ask the 3 different people. You can do all 5 if you would like to. You're going to take notes. You're going to compare the information between the people. You're going to look at the patterns that you notice and how you're showing up in the world. Because again, like I said, you're already showing up in a very specific way to people. And it's now you having control of that and getting access to that so that you can use that information to be more intentional, to establish, to utilize the resources that you have, to establish very purposeful partnerships, and also to continue making the steps that are vulnerable and uncomfortable so that you can continue to build your brand. And that is actually it. I want to thank you all for your time. We're about 2 minutes over, but I want to thank you for your time. Thank you to Parity for the opportunity to share today. Thank you all for trusting me in doing the activities that I had you all do. I'm sure it was uncomfortable. It was like, I'm not ready, I don't want to. And I'm going to thank you in advance for doing the homework assignments that I've had you all to do because it's going to take some time with you sitting with those thoughts, really looking at what you've written down and putting this to work so that you can establish more partnerships with other brands and really be intentional about how you show up in the world.
Thank you so much for doing this. I think you're amazing, by the way, but okay, yeah, you're amazing. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this was really great. I really appreciated it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It was great content, like really informative. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Welcome. Awesome.
I definitely was uncomfortable, so thank you.
Good. I did my job. Awesome.
Awesome.
Me
Thank
too,
you.
but for a different reason.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Vincent for participating. We'll be on the lookout for your accountability posts, and you better believe that we'll try to keep you accountable. So make your posts, tag us. If you have any other feedback on this session or any of our others, please always let us know, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Yes. Bye, everyone.